course is really about is building a prototype that meets your design intent. So for this class we were going for a certain feel in the geometry, and so studying bikes, test riding some, figuring out what about the geometry makes them feel that way, and then building a bike that matches what you want.
I've been riding bikes my whole life, and I really enjoy the kind of act of riding bikes, even though I'm not a super avid cyclist. Taking this class was an opportunity for me to kind of understand the different geometries of what goes into making a certain kind of bike, whether it's a cruiser bike or a touring bike or a race bike. I don't think I really fully appreciated kind of the subtleties of the differences between those, and I think this was a really kind of fun entryway to understand why those bikes are built certain ways, who those bikes are built for.
It's just a good beginning to end design process that also forces you to think about how things are made, because you're the one actually making them. And you may have ideas on what you'd like to do from a design intent, but when you begin to understand the realities of how this stuff is actually made, you can see the limitations or possibly think up new ideas you weren't aware of before you knew how to weld or bend metal or cut things.
It was actually one of the great things about the course was, while we had all these high-end tools, we had a Bridgeport mill and a lathe, we also learned techniques that we could really do this at home in our garage. I have an idea for a bike that I need. I feel confident that I could go make it, and I don't need to go into a bike shop and find the closest match. I think that's really the most exciting thing about it, is I feel relieved from the constraints of the bike industry and can do whatever I want.
The bicycle is a great entry point. We can all relate to it, we've probably all ridden them, or we currently use them to get around. We can identify with them even if we drive a car or we walk all the time. We see them, they're a part of the landscape. So the bicycle is just an entry point. I would love for students to walk away with a greater appreciation for the craft side of it, being really diligent, the finish, the fit, being sensitive to the material itself, to have a better understanding of materials, how much work, how much energy it takes to bend and to manipulate and to shape things. And I'm hoping that students that have not been exposed to the bicycle industry will try something different, try something that nobody's thought of before, or try something that the industry as a whole is kind of dismissed as that's not possible, or it's too old, or whatever. Maybe they're bringing together completely different connections.
When you walk into a bike shop, you see tons of bikes on the walls, and everyone's, kind of running around doing their thing and knowing exactly what they want. But for me, when I go into a bike shop, there's a sense of fear. It's like, oh my gosh, there's so many things, I don't know what's gonna fit me. So that was the great thing about the frame classes. I really had an opportunity to make something that was purely for me. It's euphoric at moments. I realized that I'm actually on a bike that I made myself. Handcrafted. Although that I know that it would, never go beyond my own use. It's something that I think, makes one feel like they've done something okay.
This class has really changed my view on bicycles. I can't walk down the street without kind of sitting and staring at every bike I pass, check out the welds and figure out the geometry on and the riding position. It's definitely giving me some serious bike envy, but at the same time it's also giving me the ability to kind of build up the bike I want. So playing with the idea of what that next bike will be, building a bike specific for me is really exciting.
I think anybody interested in bikes, or even if you're not, you just want the experience of making something, should take the course.